After October 7th, people could have easily said, it does not matter what I feel or believe about Jews or Israel. Murder, kidnapping, sexual abuse, mutilation, and other atrocities are always wrong and must never be defended, denied, deflected away, or justified in any way whatsoever. Instead, many people supported the murder and atrocities of October 7th. This is not about the small percentage of people that are sadistic and enjoy inflicting pain and suffering. This is about the people that are not sadistic by nature, but abandon all morality when it comes to Jews or Israel, including the prohibitions against murder and other grave crimes. This is not about liking or supporting Israel or Jews. It is a sick manifestation of Jew hatred that Jews get held responsible for everything, even their own murders, and that those that do harm to Jews are held blameless and not accountable, even when they murder and commit other horrific crimes. Jew haters find endless reasons to justify their hatred and desire to see Jews and Israelis slaughtered. They throw to the wayside the prohibitions against murder and other grave crimes that they apply to everyone else. This has been going off and on for thousands of years. Perhaps it is built insidiously into the DNA of countless human beings. Jews, not the Romans or descendants of the Romans who actually were the crucifiers, were blamed, persecuted, and murdered for almost 2,000 years for the crucifixion of Jesus. All Jews, no matter where they lived, no matter the century, even though Jesus himself was a Jew, as was his mother, his disciples, and almost all of the early Christians. The hatred, dehumanizing, persecution, and murder of Jews has a long history, not only in Europe, but also throughout the Middle East, North Africa, and elsewhere. The Jews of the Middle East and Africa and parts of Asia were ethnically cleansed and forced to flee to Israel. Those that were not murdered in the process, where there is a determined effort to wipe them all, to wipe out them all and all of the Jews of Israel off of the face of the earth. In the modern day conflict with Israel, murder is supported and accepted based on new accusations, not necessarily on the old accusations of the past that most often were about religion. There is always some excuse created or dug up to justify hating, demonizing, and murdering Jews. Hitler made it about race. Hate, dehumanize, demonize, and then murder by the millions was the tactic. This is again being attempted with reasons other than race used to hate, demonize, dehumanize, and then murder. People in the present time make it about such things as, false or not, they make it about occupation, colonization, false claims about apartheid, or some other reason to justify murder while appearing lofty. What is hypocritically ignored is the fact that most people on the planet live on occupied, colonized lands, and no one seeks their removal or murder. Or the fact that the Jews of Israel live on their historic ancestral land, where hundreds of thousands of Jews were forced to flee to and join the Jews already living there after being ethnically cleansed, including from all over the Middle East and North Africa, by the same Arab populations and people to which the Palestinian Arabs belong. Even if everything bad they said about Jews or Israelis were true, it still does not change the fact that nothing, absolutely nothing, gives anyone the right to deliberately harm civilians and defenseless people, including Jews and Israelis, or to murder, sexually abuse, kidnap, mutilate, and commit other atrocities. The anti-Israel, Jew-hating mob cannot just say murder is wrong and that no matter the excuse, no matter the reason, nothing justifies the murders and atrocities of October 7th. The centuries-old evil and poison of Jew hatred never disappeared. It may go into remission, but it never goes away. Even some people, Jewish-born, find it more compelling or profitable to be part of the anti-Jewish, anti-Israel mob that defends murder and atrocities against Jews and Israelis, including because groupthink and the will of the mob, no matter how insidious, is stronger than the ability of many individuals to be principled. Hitler, murderer of countless millions, took responsibility for absolutely nothing and blamed the Jews to the very end for his many failures. The enemy of Israel do whatever atrocities they want, just as Hitler did against the Jews, often receiving applause, not condemnation. They are rarely, if ever, held responsible by those that hate Jews and Israel. Many use deflection as the strategy to justify murder and atrocities against Jews. This is a form of hatred that is rarely called out. This group of Jew haters, the deflectors, have asked to condemn October 7th, for example, will instead use accusations against Israel to deflect away from the evils of those they support, even when those that they support murder, sexually abuse, kidnap, and commit other atrocities. This inability to take responsibility for anything and to blame the Jew or Israel for everything ensures there is no end to the war and misery. It is long past due that basic morality, including the prohibitions against murder, sexual abuse, kidnapping, and other grave crimes, are uniformly applied across the world without exception, and that Jews and Israelis are no longer considered exceptions and fair game targets to harm and murder.